Deadpool and Wolverine will return is not how the post-credits scene of the new movie ends. Here's what actually happened and why it matters. Warning, spoilers ahead. It goes without saying that Deadpool and Wolverine is extremely different from anything else we've gotten in the Marvel Cinematic Universe thus far. It features far more profanity and gory violence than people usually see in MCU movies, which up until now have been relegated to PG-13 territory.
Wanna do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
However, Deadpool and Wolverine does adhere to certain MCU standards in other ways, including offering a couple of treats for fans who stay through the credits. The first isn't really a mid-credits scene, instead offering a retrospective on the history of Marvel movies made under 20th Century Fox's banner. As the credits roll, behind-the-scenes footage showcasing actors from the X-Men and Fantastic Four movies begins to play, all set to Green Day's Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. There's even a quick interview clip of Ryan Reynolds seemingly from the set of X-Men Origins Wolverine, speaking about his enthusiasm for getting to play the Merc with a mouth. That film may not have been well received, but it shows just how far Reynolds and superhero movies in general have come in the past decade and a half. For a Deadpool movie, the clip shown is surprisingly sentimental, reflecting on actors cast in superhero movies all the way back to the early 2000s. But before you go thinking Deadpool and Wolverine ends on an entirely somber note, don't worry. There's a true post-credits scene with that Deadpoolian humor we all know and love by paying off a running gag throughout the film. Earlier in Deadpool and Wolverine, Cassandra Nova kills Johnny Storm after Deadpool eggs her on and claims that Johnny said all sorts of rude things about her on the ride over to her base. Wolverine holds Deadpool accountable throughout other scenes, insisting that he's the reason Johnny's dead. But the post-credits scene sees Deadpool back at the Time Variance Authority headquarters to show the audience a clip we hadn't seen previously from the car ride over. In it, Johnny does, in fact, say all of those mean things about Cassandra. It's a profanity-laden tirade that would make Chris Evans' other MCU hero shake his head.
Language!
As we can see, Deadpool didn't just make up all those rude things Johnny said about Cassandra, and while Deadpool clearly thinks the footage exonerates him, he still could have kept his mouth shut. Then again, maybe that's still asking too much of the Merc with a mouth. You never know what you might get with an MCU post-credits scene. Some exist as a joke, while others set up enticing prospects to come in the franchise. Occasionally, an MCU flick tries to have its cake and eat it too, by having a mid-credits scene do one of those, while the post-credits sequences do the other. Some ardent MCU fans may have hoped for a tease of what's to come in Avengers 5 or even Secret Wars, but all we're left with is an in memoriam segment for the 20th Century Fox Marvelverse and Chris Evans swearing like a sailor. Seeing as this is a Deadpool movie, maybe that's all we should have hoped for. Prior to the credits rolling, there is a tease that TVA may call on Deadpool and Wolverine down the road, incorporating them into the wider multiverse. For the time being, Wade Wilson appears to be enjoying time with his friends, while Logan gets a Laura of his very own to bond with. After everything the titular duo went through, perhaps getting a reprieve before diving into the next big team-up film is a good thing. Deadpool himself admits Marvel is at a bit of a low point within its storied history, so Deadpool and Wolverine feels like a much-deserved victory lap. It's a retrospective of 2 decades of X-Men movies and introduces a more mature tone to the MCU's film slate. With all that, it's probably fine Deadpool and Wolverine ends with a joke about how Evans can swear just as seamlessly as Ryan Reynolds.